For a young woman to be pregnant and unmarried is nearly always a disturbing and unsettling prospect. I'm Acadia Einstein, and this is Strangeful Things.
Sheltering in place is not advised, as your survival cannot be ensured in that scenario.
Love has practically caused me to just get you destroyed.
Unsolved, unresolved, and super complicated.
Strangeful Things.
Welcome, everyone, to Strangeful Things. I am indeed Acadia Einstein, and that was my horrible Robert Stack impression. And I am joined by my wonderful grackles, Mells and Shooey. How's it going, fellow companions?
Oh, it is going fantastic. I want to tell you about these bookmarks that I got, okay?
Yeah.
So I found this Etsy shop, and she does, like, all these cool wooden bookmarks. And so I was looking through her inventory, and she happened to have a bookmark for the stand. And she had a bookmark for the gunslinger. So I ordered.
No way.
Yes, I ordered both of them, and they are just beautiful works of art. So I'm very, very excited about these bookmarks. I put them in the books that they go to. I'm not going to use them for anything else. So when I pick up those books ever again to read them, I will use those bookmarks. But that's
Nice.
something positive that's going on right now, right?
That's outstanding. When we were all at the convention, did you take any of the Strangeful Things bookmarks?
Oh, of course. So that's my normal bookmark that I use.
That's your go-to, not your fancy company, like the fancy towels that you put out for company that your regular family aren't allowed to use.
Oh,
exactly.
you have guest bookmarks?
Yeah.
These are my guest bookmarks.
Yes, in my guest room, I have the Wi-Fi password along with one of my favorite Stephen King books and a Strangeful Things bookmark. That's what I have out for guests.
That's outstanding. Well, I'm glad you got something that made you happy.
Yes, me too. Me too. It's the little things in life.
That's right.
Yeah.
What about your little thing, Shooey?
Well, let's keep my little thing out of this conversation.
Bazinga!
Woo! That was a good one. Mine's more of like an observation that I had this past week. It was, I guess, I don't know, not everybody, but a lot of people know I recently turned 50. And of like a lot of people, we have like the Alexas all over the house and stuff like that. And the ones with the screens, you can have show pictures of stuff from like that day through whatever you have saved in there.
Right.
And I don't know if it's just as you get older or some shit, but recently it hit me like how many like significant things in my life happened on the same day.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Like not like significant, like I got engaged that day or I got married that day or something, but like something big, like, on a trip we went on or something like that.
Right.
And I just thought it was really cool how the day that we got our kittens was the same day that, we got to Glacier National Park was like the same day that we were up in Montreal when we climbed the mountain there. And like there was like so many cool things like that. So
that's awesome.
I just thought it was a cool observation.
Well, aren't you a jet-setting fancy pants?
I like to think.
I love it.
Huh. Well, no shit.
Well, what about you, Acadia?
Well, so the pool, which is my only source of entertainment,
It's a beautiful blue, clear pool.
Well, that's what I was going to talk about, too. And I realize now all my entertainment is a rectangle. The TV's a rectangle, the computer monitor, my phone, the pool, everything's a rectangle. Books, rectangles.
Some of them.
Well, where are you going to get a triangle book?
No, well, some of them are just squares.
Oh, yeah, that's true, too. Yeah, but a square is a rectangle.
Okay, you're right.
That's true.
So,
all squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares.
That's right.
True. Touche.
So the pump burned up, and I wasted money on an electrician that I could have saved had I just opened the cover of the motor of the pump. But I thought it was like one of those no user serviceable parts inside things, so I didn't bother. And the first thing he did was open up the cover and go, yeah, pump's burned up. So now let me spend an hour and a half doing other shit around your house that's going to cost you money. But the pump was under warranty, so the pool company came and they gave me a temp one while they waited for the replacement. And the replacement and the temp pump was 1.5 horsepower instead of 1 horsepower. And that fucker sucks every bad thing out of the water that exists. Like, it's so clear that it's like spooky.
That's a lot more horsepower.
Yeah. And on Monday, like the jets will just put you right off your rocker. They'll blow you all the way across the other side of the pool. But on Monday, they're bringing back the old pump.
Oh.
So Mrs. Zach is like, hey, why don't you, try and slip them a Finsky so that they don't take it? I'm like, well, I don't know if that's...
We're perfectly happy with this one if you want to just leave it.
Hey, sir, we're ready to bring your pump back. Prank caller. I don't know you. Bye. So
it sucks all the bad stuff out of your pool. I mean, how do you get into the pool?
Bam.
Full of it today.
The neighbor kid was over, and because she's learning to swim, and she's like 5, and she's doing a good job. Like last year, she used to jump off the side all the time, but then she decided that she's afraid of doing that. But she's actually now she's actually swimming, and she came over and she's like, "But I don't want to use my floaties."
All right.
And so she started actually swimming, and then
good for her.
When they had to leave, which she didn't want to leave, she said, "I wish our house had a garage that had a pool behind it." And then she decided that she didn't like our house because it, quote, has too much fun stuff and it makes me want to stay there all the time.
Oh, man.
So
to be 5 again, man.
Yeah, I know, right? But of course, by all means, let's send idiots like that to the schools to give us all COVID. They're going to be trading masks back and forth. We're doomed.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Kids don't know nothing.
Not a thing.
Well, that's all right. It's still, I don't know, for that week and a half that the pool was so crystal clear, it looked like a Caribbean beach.
Aw.
But I don't know, maybe it was my increased checking it and actually trying to balance the chemicals instead of just throwing more chlorine in it and watching people's eyes get redder and redder.
That's what I've been trying, and that hasn't been working.
Gotta shock it. Or you got to use that other stuff that they put in there, that aluminum sulfite stuff.
Yeah.
Because that globs onto the stuff and makes it fall to the bottom. So today on Pool Chemistry.
Yeah.
No, that's not the name of our show. The name of our show is Strangeful Things. And I got a story for you guys. It's kind of personal. Well, personal in that it affected me a long time ago.
Ooh.
So if you've listened, yeah, that's right.
You, huh?
Mm-hmm. Now, if you've...
I always said you were affected.
That's true and hurtful. Now, if you've listened to all the episodes, and I know that some of you have, then you will know that we did one way at the beginning about what was considered my story. It's a good episode, and I highly recommend you go back and check it out if you haven't. But tonight, we're doing what I would also consider my story, because for some reason, it's genuinely stuck with me for 30 goddamn years and made me shit my pants when I first watched it on Unsolved Mysteries. And no lie, the episode was seriously in like 1990. So this has stuck with me for a really, really long time.
Oh, so you watched it when you were, what, 35? And that checks out.
Yes.
I was being generous.
We can't all be 25, Mells. Not even you. So The quote from the beginning of the story is from the king, Robert Stack himself, as he opened the segment, and it sort of shows you how dated it is, considering that I don't necessarily think women who are pregnant and unmarried see that as a disturbing and unsettling prospect, at least not all the time.
Well, I think it's the unmarried part that makes it seem old-fashioned. Like, I could see alone or without support, but married is not the end-all, be-all that it used to be considered.
Well, to be fair,
To be fair,
Well,
Robert Stack was just reading a cue card, so let's just leave him alone on this one.
I
I've been
guess you
doing
can't
this
blame
show.
him.
No, that's true. I've been doing this show for years, and if it's taught me anything, it's that anyone, woman or man, can be murdered or end up being a murderer. It's my version of being progressive.
Yeah. Preach it, Mr. Stack.
So, the story spans a long period of time, but this episode might not be the longest one we've ever done. But I don't care because the story's trippy and I wanted more than just the patrons to hear it. Now, of course, if you want to have other different extra bonus content, that's other different extra bonus, I said, content, you can go to patreon.com/strangeful and sign up, but that's up to you.
Ooh, look at you working the plug-in. Real classic.
I'm working the plug-in. I'm trying to keep food on the table is what I'm doing. We need the money for Adderall for you sleepy fuckers. Anyway, this case has a few wild elements, and I don't think we're going to solve it. Well, we might. But I also know there's some things that we can make some wild conjectures about, and that's always fun. Now, our story starts in 1965. That was the time of Lyndon Johnson, the Civil Rights Movement, version 1, and Vietnam. And I found out the first black Playboy centerfold. So good for you, disgusting pervert Hugh Hefner.
Way to go, 1965.
Yeah, right?
Woo. Yeah.
That's pretty forward thinking for old Hugh the perv.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
the
who?
woman in this, right? Is he dead?
Yeah.
Yes, thank God.
Yeah, he's dead, right? All right. You never know.
Well, he
You never know.
died. I don't know that he wasn't resurrected or
Oh, yeah, that's true. You can't rule that
some
out.
other supernatural type thing.
Reincarnated.
Reincarnated into a younger Hugh Hefner. I don't know.
Mystery of Hugh Hefner's bones. So, the woman in this story is 22-year-old Judith Carol Hyams, Hyams. She is a medical technician from Coral Gables, Florida. She was recently divorced and had started seeing a dentist named Lucien Gordon. Now, it might seem weird now to know that somebody was already divorced at 22, but back in olden times, people got married way younger. So she could have been unhappy for up to 4 or 5 years before she got divorced.
I remember us at 22, and I find it hard to believe that we would be able to string together important things like marriages and divorces and shit like that. We were kind of idiots.
Well, part of that's because we're from the North.
Well, yeah.
When Mells was 16, I assumed she was responsible for her whole family worm farm and roadside attraction. I have to think that Melly's worm circus was big business.
Okay, laugh it up. Laugh it
The
up.
largest roadside attraction on Route 32.
Yeah. We just had a cow with one ear, so I'd like to just say that right now.
That's
No worm
old Route
circus.
32.
Yeah.
Why, when they replaced the road, they almost put us out of business. But it is true that people, like, I saw a tweet once that it was like, somebody said, oh, he's only 32, but he's North Carolina 32, which means he's married and got 2 kids.
Oh, man.
It's true.
Well, I was married at 23.
Shut up.
Yeah, super young.
I was married at 24.
Yeah.
Not me.
Yeah.
I waited.
Till you were.
Like, I waited like there was a big line of people that wanted to marry me. And I was just like, no, you wait, you fuckers.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
Miss Hat got lucky. I'm just
Yeah.
joking.
That's right.
That's
She did
right.
get lucky. Lucky her. Look at the pool she has.
Yeah.
That's right.
least-
Ooh,
At
crystal
least until Monday afternoon.
It's got a lot of horsepower in that pool. So
Right,
she's
oh,
the
that's-
luckiest gal I know.
Damn right. And those jets. Who needs me?
This thing could handle a Olympic size, I swear it.
Now, responsible or not, Judith found out she was pregnant in August of 1965. Now, as we mentioned earlier, this was a different time, and being a single mom with a kid out of wedlock would have challenges we cannot fathom now, so we're not going to get all judgy. And the fact that, like, her deciding to get an abortion was illegal at the time is A, horrifying, and B, also horrifying for different reasons. And
no, my gosh.
I can't imagine the fucking pressure. Can't even fucking fathom it. Now, because it was illegal, well, we'll get... She didn't not have an abortion, but she did have to go to a doctor. Like, it being illegal did not deter her in any way.
Right.
But it did force her to have to go to a doctor who was willing to break the law, or... as it was described everywhere I saw it in my research, a doctor who performed illegal abortions, which is stupid because they were all illegal, so it makes no sense to describe it that way.
Huh.
It makes it sound like the doctor was given the abortion while he was cheating on his taxes or robbing a bank or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And Judy was afraid to tell anyone what was happening. According to her friend Marilyn Jackson, who was interviewed for the Unsolved Mysteries episode,
Judy never said anything to me about the fact that she might have been pregnant. She never even told me that she went to have a test, a pregnancy test. She called me, I guess, the day that she was going to have the abortion, if that is what happened, to tell me that she was going shopping. She was leaving work early and going shopping. Well, that sucks that she had nobody to talk to.
Well, she had at least, that does suck, but she had at least one person, but I guess it wasn't Marilyn. She got the name of the doctor she used from a friend who helped to arrange the appointment with this Dr. George Hagyú. Now, as it turned out, Hagyú was not a doctor at all, but rather a Hungarian scam artist who pretended he was a doctor. Because if you only do illegal abortions, who's going to fucking check on you?
Oh, no. Uh-oh.
Right?
No.
So Judy took out $300 the day of the procedure, which is how much today, Shooey?
That's $2,470 in today's money, which does not seem like too much of a ripoff at all.
Yeah, right.
Right. Wow. Oh, my God. That is crazy money.
That's a lot of fucking money.
That's fucking crazy. That's a fucking nice mortgage.
Right? Well, I think in 65, you could probably buy a whole house for that much money.
Yeah, a whole house for that, yeah.
Man.
Jesus.
You get a Mustang for something like that.
Oh, man. Doesn't it fucking piss you? Like, there was I don't know. It's the goddamn boomers that they're the ones that are, oh, well, just go out and work for it. Yeah, well, still, because bread cost a nickel. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, bread is, like, expensive now.
Yeah, everything, I don't know. There was a big flip in the 80s where people, like, you used to be able to, like, oh, what'd you do? Well, I went to high school and then I became, I don't know, a sheet metal worker, and look at my beautiful home and 2 cars and everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, nobody can do that now.
No.
But in 65, you can be a 22-year-old medical technician and just have $2,400, $2,500 just laying around.
My theory is that Gen X is the fucked generation, because boomers are the last generation that get like hefty pensions and shit like that.
Yeah, nobody knows what a pension is now.
Exactly. And then millennials are, a lot of them have been sticking home and kind of living off their parents a little longer than maybe we did. So the X kind of gets stuck in the middle there.
I'm on the cusp, so I don't take offense to that.
I'm on the cusp.
There you cuspy.
I'm on the cusp.
Well, Judith went to the clinic, and she gives the name B. Kenny to further obfuscate what's happening, but that turns out to not be needed because Judith Hyams was never seen again. And there's your mystery. The fuck happened to Judith Hyams? Any ideas off the tops of your heads? I think it comes down to really if you think she lived or died because she was never seen again.
Like, do you think she... Oh, no. You know what the first thing that came to my mind was?
What?
that she didn't make it through the abortion.
That's mine too. That Haju fucked it up.
Like, how the fuck? Let's just take a minute and go, all right, I'm not a doctor. I'm just some fucking rando guy. I'm going to take this person's money and give them an abortion. Oh, wait a minute. I have no fucking idea how to do that. You know what I mean?
I'll just scrape around in there. It'll eventually do the job.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm just going to fucking slug her in the stomach with a pillowcase full of sodas.
Jesus.
Or some shit
down
like
the
that.
stairs
Like,
or something.
yeah, right? Jesus Christ. The fucking risks. God damn it.
Like, it's not even like this is like the 1800s or something. This is like almost in our lifetime.
I think they were doing heart. Yeah, they were doing heart transplants and shit like that by then, I think.
Oh.
Maybe I should check that. This is real-time fact-checking, folks. First,
Yeah, thanks for the scrape. Thanks for the scrape imagery.
Yeah, I know. Well, that was Shooey, not me.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean. I'm sorry. That was gross.
Because my vagina went up into my body after that. Thanks a lot.
Stop.
Well, where was it before?
Well, I just thought that actually.
It was double secret up in me.
It went all the way up, like into the diaphragm.
The first heart transplant was 1967. So
it was the same. It was the same period.
They were getting there.
Yeah.
They were very close. They had probably done it on a monkey by then.
Yeah, that's true. And that guy with the monkey heart lived 4 minutes.
Oh, man. What a 4 minutes to be alive, though, right?
That's right. That's right.
Well, this is a tragic story that I'm sure like happened thousands of times back then because of the way the laws were. But like what makes this episode worthy?
Well, for one thing, according to her friend, since she was a lab tech, she had medical knowledge and was smart enough to go for help if she needed it after the procedure. Which, I guess, I mean, I don't know. It's not like you could be a geologist, but it doesn't mean that you wouldn't die if there was an earthquake.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so that's kind of dubious, but because
but they could have fucked up that she never even had that opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. It's way easier to say, but it might not have been so easy to do when things were occurring. But it's something to think about.
Right.
Now that in and of itself is not enough to make it a Strangeful case, though. But how about the fact that on September 17th, 3 days after she disappeared, the cops found a rental car rented in her name in Atlanta.
What?
That's 650 miles away from Coral Gables.
Yep.
On top of that, there was blood on the back seat. But like in other cases we have covered, the crime scene or potential crime scene was contaminated way before the car found its way back to Coral Gables.
Of course it was.
Of course. According to the cops, someone in Atlanta saw a dude in his 30s park the car, then get what looked like a duffel bag out of the trunk and walk away. So if they were, say, 35 in 1965, that would mean they're 90 now. So I think the odds of us catching him are pretty slim.
Yeah.
They couldn't find him
away with this one.
Exactly. They couldn't find him in 65, and the show aired in 1990 when he would have been 60. So there you go.
Yeah, I'm not really sure about this whole abortion road trip angle, and if blood was in the back seat where Judith presumably was, then who was driving?
Yeah, and who was in the fucking duffel bag?
Well, I think you guys just worked out a theory. Like, could it have been the dentist?
Whoa.
They didn't say how old he was. Like, I don't know why. So this is a little far-fetched. All right, well, you're going to get an abortion, but first rent a car. Like,
well, when
you'd think they would have known when she rented the car. Like, I think they write that shit down. I'm no genius, but I did used to work for a car rental place, and pickup time is written down.
Right. So they should have kind of had an inkling of, oh, you rented this after you were dead?
Right, exactly.
Right.
Like, if we're going to be backseat cops, which why not? So you've got a timestamp of when she ever signed in under the assumed name, because they found out she was under an assumed name. So obviously they got the registry or whatever from the fake doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get the time that she rented the car, if it was before or after. If she rented the car after she got the procedure, then either she sat in the back seat and drove the car herself, I don't know, with a fucking broom on the gas all the way to Atlanta, or somebody else did.
That's creepy.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
So the plot sort of thickens more 3 months after the disappearance, because the doctor, George Hodju, was arrested for pretending to be a doctor. So good for the cops. They found the fake doctor.
Wow.
Big surprise, though. He jumped bail, and he has never been seen since, at least in America.
What?
Yep. Odds are he beat it back to Hungary and became an actual doctor. I don't know. I don't know how hard it would have been to become a doctor in 1960s communist Hungary, and I don't know who to ask to follow up on that. But the cops think he might know what happened to Judith Hyams. Gee, you fucking think?
Oh, let's ask him.
Right? It's a fucking shame they didn't ask him between the time they arrested him and the time he skipped bail.
Well, we don't know if they knew at the time that she had gotten an abortion. I mean, she was pretty secretive about the whole thing.
Look at you sticking up for the cops, you fucking narc.
Well, I'm just saying that it feels like a lot of blanks in the case that got filled in over the 25 years between the incident and then this episode of Unsolved Mysteries.
That's true. Well, I'll tell you who didn't fill those blanks in. The cops in 1965. Because not long after Hodju disappeared, they just stopped looking for poor Judith.
Oh,
Jesus.
Well, I can't super blame them, because it's not like they had a body or anything, and they had other shit to do, like catch Cubans or whatever it is they did. And disappearing is not a crime, so they buttoned that shit up, and nobody thought about it again for 25 years. And what happens 25 years later is why this is an episode. Dun dun dun.
Meanwhile, little Twin Peaks reference, 25 years. Anyway.
Picture it. You can catch Mells on the Damn Fine TV podcast. Why don't you look that up? She's stepping out on us all the time. So if you want to hear some quality content about television, then go to my Damn Fine TV. I don't know, is it .com or is it damnfine.tv? Where do you find it?
Well, you just find it on like anywhere that you can find podcasts.
All right, look it up.
But thank you. That was so nice of you to put that plug in there.
Well, you're on the team.
Whew.
If you want
Does that mean I don't have to edit somebody else's plug into it?
Nope. It's all self-contained.
All right.
And while you're at it, you can look up the Castle Rock Historical Society and hear me, along with my partner on that, Hannah Selector. Or you can just creep around outside Shooey's house and listen to him talk to his family, because that's what he's got going on the side. So now, picture a captain in the Coral Gables Police Department named Chuck Shearer. He just happens to sound exactly like Detective Graven from the Martin Family episode.
That's right. I'm back. I think this is what I sounded like. I didn't re-listen to the episode, but I believe this is right. But this is in the late 80s, so I'm not allowed to smoke as many cigarettes or rough up as many lugs in my day as I did in my day of detective. I had to do other things like give speeches at the police academy 200 miles west of Omaha, Nebraska for some reason.
Oh.
That's right. And I don't think you were quite as breathless. It was more natural.
Well,
I
it's
could have lost
changed.
it at the end there. There was a long sentence.
I think I was going to stroke out. All right. So Captain Chuck is what I'm calling him, because Captain Shearer is, I don't like saying that word. Anyway, he really did go to this rando police academy, which, by the way, I'm going to say was in Broken Bow, Nebraska, because that's 205 miles west of Omaha.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a cool sounding name. He gave his boring lecture for jerks and then went back home. Big whoop, right?
Huh.
Well, it was a big whoop 2 days later. And in honor of Unsolved Mysteries, we're going to do an unnecessary reenactment of what happened. The scene is the Coral Gables Police Department, 2 days after Captain Chuck got back from Nebraska. You guys ready for this? We haven't done anything super dramatic like this in a while.
Gotta
Like,
get
we haven't done...
We did get
No.
applause in a recent episode when Mells and I acted out a brief scene.
Yes, we
Yeah,
did.
that's true.
It was a highlight of my career right there.
Mel's, we'd have to go all the way back to... who was it? Who was that fucking sex wizard? I can't think of his name.
Sex wizard.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Say what?
You remember the sex wizard?
It is escaping my
I
mind at the
remember a
moment.
sex wizard. I don't know if it's the same one you guys work with.
The
Wow.
ones we work with.
Yeah. This is going all to hell. What the fuck was his name? Jack Parsons. Remember the guy that, like...
Jack Parsons. I'm okay. I wasn't...
That was season 2.
Yeah, it was. And I wasn't putting... For some reason, I wasn't putting sex wizard to him, but this is an accurate description.
Yeah, he was actually a genuine... He was a rocket scientist and a sex wizard. So you should go back and listen to those episodes. Because it's true, and there's lots of beautiful acting in it.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
To be matched only by what we're about to drop on you right now.
All right.
Me.
Ring, ring.
Captain Chuck Sheeran here. Call me Captain Chuck.
Hey there, Captain Chuck. You don't know me, but my name's Steve Brown, and I'm the host of a popular radio talk show in Omaha, Nebraska.
Nebraska popular or regular popular?
Well, that is needlessly hurtful. Anyway, I got an anonymous call today with information about the disappearance of Judith Hyams.
Who?
Judith Hyams.
Never heard of her. Hold on. Hey, Darla.
What?
Can you pull a file for a Judith Hyams?
I'm on break.
All right, Mr. Brown. When Darla gets off her break, I will dig into this file and call you tomorrow, so we can talk about the info you have. How can I reach you?
That was fucking breathtaking right there.
I like this Darla chick.
Yeah, Darla knows what's up. So
Darla was top, baby, top.
Yeah.
Except for the Darla part, that's just what happened. And Brown gave Shearer 2 different phone numbers to get him back at. And the next day, Captain Chuck called him. And this is a straight-up quote from Steve Brown. He said, "Well, regarding your call to me, I've dug up the information that you needed, and I have it for you." And I said, "Excuse me?" Because this is a call out of the blue. I didn't know who the man was or could not imagine what he was talking about. When he gave me my own unlisted home phone number, I began to think through the people that come to mind who have that telephone number, thinking they could have called. And no one has yet come to mind who would make such a phone call without telling me about it, claiming to be me.
Oh.
So that's something, and it's from the Unsolved episode, by the way, as is this bit from Captain Chuck.
Well, now, I'm confused. I don't know what to think. Why would a 25-year-old case surface all of a sudden out of Omaha, Nebraska, when in fact I've never been to Omaha, Nebraska in my life prior to this time and had no knowledge or anything about this case? I never mentioned the case whatsoever the whole time we were out there, for the simple reason I really didn't even know about the case to give anybody any information or anything.
So,
Wow.
That's interesting, no?
Yeah.
And then comes the thing that is legitimately, genuinely haunted me for 30 years, ever since I saw this episode.
Ooh.
This is a reenactment of the reenactment. Good evening, Coral Gables Police Department. Captain Shearer, one moment.
Hello, Captain Shearer.
Judy Hyams is alive, and she
Hyams?
Oh, shit. Okay, let's read it.
Judy's hymen has grown back and it lives in Omaha.
Judy's hymen has been found.
Somebody broke Judy's hymen.
Okay. All right. I knew I was going to do that. All right. Judy Hyams is alive, and she lives in Omaha.
Who is this, please?
Judy Hyams is alive, and she lives in Omaha.
Who is this? Hello? Who is this?
Now, you guys might not think that's creepy, but I think it's creepy as fuck. Like,
Maybe chill bumps.
who does that? And why do they do it? And what did the woman have to do with the first guy? Like, do you think that they were working together? Oh, wait a minute. Before we dive into that, let's talk about the third call first. In autumn of 1989, a local newspaper ran a story about the Hyams case, and not long after that, Captain Chuck got another phone call.
Listen, I would have Darla screening the fuck out of my phone before I answer any more of those spooky calls, okay? This bitch needs to get off break and help Captain Chuck.
I can make it on my own. I will throw the phone in the cell if it gives me any lip.
You'll rough
Settle
it up
down.
and throw it in there.
Yeah. Settle down there, Captain Knuckles. All right.
Listen,
We hear
you
it's
lug.
Yeah, right? We here at Strangeful Things believe that Captain Chuck was a good cop and would not rough up anyone. He might have been befuddled most of the time and eventually scared of the telephone, but he didn't seem like he was a jerk. That's something, I guess. Anyway, the third call he got was from, well, actually, I'm going to have the captain say it just like he said it on the show, because it kind of makes no sense, and I don't want to get blamed for being a shitty scriptwriter. I have plenty of other examples of that all over the rest of the show. So, take it away, Captain Chuck.
The third phone call that I received was from the man that identified himself as an informant for the FBI. He refused to give me his name at the time, but he said that he had just spent several weeks with Haju over in Budapest, Hungary, and he gave me the phone number. I contacted Interpol, and Interpol, through their Budapest Interpol, determined that the phone number that they gave me indeed comes back to the same name of the suspect at that time. The doctor that supposedly performed the abortion.
So we have an Interpol?
Nah, I don't think we do. But the just
Okay.
like, I don't know what he was talking about. He said, I contacted Interpol and our Interpol through their Budapest Interpol. That's a lot of Interpols.
Yeah.
I don't think it works that way. But
You're gonna get comments. It's gonna be that's not how Interpol works, people. Do your research. Do your research.
This was an ancillary thing. I didn't feel like I needed to brush up on my how Interpol works. The gist of it seems to be that someone claiming to be an informant for the FBI told Captain Chuck the fake Hungarian doctor's phone number.
Mm-hmm.
But this brings up many more questions, which we will get to. But first, I'm going to lay out what Robert Stack said. Police have yet to locate George Haju in Hungary, but they feel it is highly unlikely that he was responsible for the phone calls. The only real evidence that Judith is still alive has come from the mysterious phone calls. Police have searched the Omaha area but have found no trace of her whereabouts. Who placed the anonymous phone calls? If they're telling the truth, where is Judith Hyams today? Did she have an abortion and die as a result? Or did she just disappear? And, as a last little treat, this episode ended up having an update. 4 days after it originally aired in 1990, an unsigned letter arrived at the Coral Gables Police Department. It stated that Judith Hyams died from complications during an illegal abortion and that her body had been dumped in Biscayne Bay near Miami. And the cops think that the letter is legit. So what do you think about that?
I think a lot about it.
Yeah, so do I.
Well, we got a long theory free swim about it, but I want to get my question out about the FBI informant thing.
Okay, which is?
What the fuck is that FBI informant thing? Like, if you think about it, they found her car in another state, which means interstate something or other was theoretically involved.
Right.
Which means that the FBI could mix in. But was the guy...
And we did talk about how car theft was something that they got themselves involved in.
You're 100% right. I forgot about that. That's true. But was the guy an informant about 25-year-old missing person cases? Or was he in a prison? Was he a prison snitch who happened to know the fake Hungarian doctor's Hungarian phone number? What even is that last call? I just feel like that one was just piling on poor Captain Chuck.
I can take it.
You can take whatever you want, mister. And while you do, Mells, why don't you give us your favorite theory and we will solve this case?
Well, unfortunately, I think that she did not make it through the abortion.
Yeah.
And I think that more than likely that is correct, that her body was dumped. I mean, you have to think about the time period. Like, it was, all of that was just fucked up during that time.
That's true. I mean, that's the shortest distance between 2 points. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's the most likely thing that had happened. And apparently, driving from Coral Gables to Key Biscayne, which is in Biscayne Bay, is about 20 minutes away. So that would also kind of make sense.
Well, I have a question. So the person that rented the car, though, they gave her name, but wouldn't it have had to have been a female?
That's my thing.
And
Maybe it could have been like a nurse at the clinic or something.
well, that's true. And
But then,
was it a female that called and said, like the creepy voice that called and said that she was alive in Omaha? Was that a female?
yeah, that was female.
Okay, so that could also, but how would it? I don't know. I'm like that math meme, you know, where it's like,
Oh, yeah. With all the fucking, like, equations floating around your head.
Yeah, I'm like that right now because I'm like, well, I'm trying to put together how they would then contact Captain Chuck, who had been not in Omaha, but in the vicinity of it, right?
Yeah, it wasn't even like he was in Omaha, although I'm sure he probably had to go through Omaha to get wherever he was going. But still, like he said,
Weird.
he didn't know anything about the case. It wouldn't, like, he would just been going, Judy Hyams, wish I knew where Judy Hyams was while he was walking through the airport. Like, that would never happen.
Right.
Because he didn't even know. The calls are what make this so fucked up.
Yeah.
Right.
Because if you take out that part, then it's like, well, 25 years elapsed, and then we told you we elapsed, and then we just told you what happened in the case.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it sucks, but it's not mysterious. It's also not unsolved.
Right.
But that part in the middle
Is weird.
the three things are all fucked up by themselves. Like the radio guy, why would somebody give his number if he could count how many people actually even had that number?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it seems like he'd be able to go and get them and rough them up until they told him why they did it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so random.
It is.
And it was triggered by the fact that this dude from Coral Gables, like, try to game out what the motivation of whoever made that call was and how that it even happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's some guy that knew what happened. So let's say, for instance, he was Judith Hyams' husband because she left her car in Atlanta and then somehow got herself to Omaha, started a new life, and married some dude.
Mm-hmm.
That dude he knows the story because she tells him everything.
Right.
Right.
And then that night, this is the part that I can't fucking get through. Somehow he finds out that a guy from Coral Gables is giving a speech at a police academy. And he says, you know what, Judith? I'm tired of the lies. I'm going to call the cops and tell them that you're not disappeared. But instead of just doing that, because again, I'm sure that the statute of limitations on having an illegal abortion had run out after 25 years.
Yeah.
And again, disappearing is not a crime. So why would he have to go? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sneak into some guy's house and steal his unlisted phone number, and then I'm going to say I'm him when I call the cops. That'll show him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The second one makes the most sense to me because that could have been, if we keep going on this ridiculous train of thought that could never really happen, then it was Judy herself. She's like, oh, you did it wrong, Frank. I'll do it myself. And she calls up and she just says, Judy Hyams is alive. She lives in Omaha. And then she hangs up and goes, and it's me. Ha!
I'm sorry. That tickled me. It's not supposed to be funny, but
well, that is kind of what the show is, so that's fine. But then the third call makes even less sense because the third call comes out of nowhere with all this nonsense about I found the doctor's phone number. And how do you not find a person if you have their phone number in 1990?
Right.
Especially,
Yeah.
Maybe, I guess it wasn't communist anymore. So the first thing they did was
destroy the phone records.
Yeah, right. They're like, yeah, no more phone books. That was a communist thing.
That's what teach them all.
We need to get rid of this book that they used that wrote down all of our names and numbers. Actually, that's a pretty handy book there, Hungary. Everybody has one. Oh. So, as a matter of fact, think about how people are freaked out about, oh, I can't believe Facebook knows this and that. And they literally used to have a book that had everybody's name, address, and phone number in it.
I know, right? Like the information used to be it, and didn't phone books have addresses in them as well?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Because the realtors had a special reverse phone book that if you only knew the number, you could look up where the place was.
Yeah.
I don't know why realtors had it, but they did.
Odd.
Like, why would that be? Why would you just have a phone number and go, well, fuck, I want to sell the shit out of whatever house this is. I better go to my reverse phone book and look it up. That's nonsense too. God damn it. Nothing about this case makes sense.
No.
Even the stuff that has nothing to do with it, like reverse real estate phone books.
Let's talk to you about reverse mortgages. Oh, I'm sorry.
Cold calling. They might have been cold calling from that thing.
I would get a reverse mortgage in it.
Are you wanting to sell your house at 123 Pleasant Lane?
I should just get a reverse mortgage like now. It doesn't matter. I got no kids. What do I care?
Good point.
It's not like I'm going to leave the house to you, Shooey. What do you want it for?
I don't think you're old enough. Well, I'll be gone way before you.
You can leave it to me because I want a pool.
Yeah, that's true too.
That's true. It's kind of moving to a slightly different part of the country.
Yeah, but you'd be going
accustomed to, right? Going back home.
Going back home.
Baby, I'm coming home.
So, I guess we just got bored. Yeah, we're never going to solve this case, so we'll just talk about some other shit.
Yeah, let's talk about random shit.
But I'm not crazy, right? This is a fucked up story.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
No, it definitely is.
All right. I feel better then because it really has bugged me for a long time. And you know, my old roommate, well, Kenny, who used to be on the show.
Oh yeah,
I would freak him out about it because I would just Judy Hyams is alive and she lives in Omaha. It's creepy, right?
It is creepy. Yeah, I mean, I told you when I was after reading it, I was like getting the chill bumps.
Yeah. So I think the most logical thing is people in Omaha are crazy and they trolled Captain Chuck. And that none of that part in the middle had anything to do with anything. Because theoretically, we could just find some unsolved murder right now in, like, I don't know, Colorado and fuck with people about it.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You wanna?
I'll work on anything.
I'll work the case.
I'll work any case. Just point me in the direction.
Captain Chuck to the rescue.
That's right. So I guess we're not going to solve it. Are we throwing in the towel?
Ugh.
I guess. I mean, but this was a fucked up story, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is. I mean, it's quite a difference from the Aztecs. I've ruled the Aztecs out as a suspect.
We've cleared their name.
Yeah, you did a lot of things, Aztecs, but you didn't do this.
Yeah.
So I guess, Shooey, tell them where to find us.
All right, y'all. You can find Mells on Instagram at Superficial Mells and on Twitter at MellsBells84. You can find Acadia on Twitter at Acadia and on Insta at Acadia Einstein. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter, and I tend to post something once every month or two. It's very
God damn
exciting
it.
when it happens. You can find me at Shooey Time.
And remember, you can just hang around outside his house.
Or
watch him.
you could
Yeah.
take a moment and you could rate and review us by letting your friends know as well. Word of mouth works very well as
Yep.
well.
That is, that's out of everything. It costs $0, and you're already in the podcast app because you have to be because you heard this. So I don't know, just click the little star thing. Give it a little 5.
Give it a little
5.
I really like
if
this
it goes, if it only goes up to 4, then make it 4. We're not asking you to call up with a bug report saying there's not enough stars to give our show. I mean, you can if you want, but just it helps. And if you really, really want to solve the case, then you can. I don't know. I'm making bold
I don't know
claims.
if I promised the case
Right.
itself.
If you want to guarantee a solved case, then you can go to patreon.com/strangeful and become a patron. And asterisk, there will be no solved case. Because we don't know how to solve them. We just know how to tell you the stories.
Exactly.
So the other thing you can do is, as far as this particular episode goes, if you search for that video, you can find the episode. And you can go, wow, his Robert Stack was really on point. I'm wearing a trench coat, even as we speak.
Hopefully you've got something on under it.
Nope, nothing but this. The room is full of mist. It's just like a real episode. I got the dry ice working. Oh, the whole thing.
Good God. Well, on that note, please count your blessings that you never have to see anything like that.
and even further on that note, keep on flapping.
So stupid. Bye-bye.